Welcome here into Teal, the show. It has been a week. I think a roller coaster ride of emotions for the Jaguars, coming off a rough game against the Texans. Some not great Travis Hunter news this week, since he's going to officially miss the rest of the year, had some surgery, and now the Chargers coming to town. We'll cover all of it over the course of the next few minutes here on Teal the Show. Got Kyle hanging out with me tonight. Kyle, this is a big one at the bank. I don't know if the Jaguars have a bigger matchup than this the rest of the way.
Yeah, I mean, we've looked at, the percentages and whatnot. This game could be the end-all, be-all. The win, maybe you make it. You lose, you probably won't. So this game could be their season. Yeah, look, this is a turning point. You're coming off of a tough game against the Houston Texans. The Chargers are coming to town. You're in the race for the wild card with the Chargers. So a win over them gives you that tiebreaker. All of the simulators give this a swing. The Jaguars win it, and their chances to go in the playoffs go up over 50%. They lose it, and it drops below 20%. So this is a huge game, and this is one about kind of dealing with the adversity. They lost 3 of their last 4, and the one they won, it wasn't exactly in dominant fashion. So a lot of ground to cover, a big inflection point in the season possibly. I think this might be the one where you feel like, okay, this was the turning point, or this is where they packed it up, and we said, well, we'll start thinking about next season. Yeah, how do you respond? That's what I kind of... I can't wait for Sunday just because I want to see how the team responds. Like you said, it's been a roller coaster. Roller coasters are normally fun. I enjoy them, but that is a good analogy, a little up and down. So we're going to have to wait and see. One thing one player I want to talk about, he's probably the most polarizing player, is Trevor Lawrence, the quarterback. Little up and down this year. I know some people love him, some people don't like to love him, but we definitely got to hear from Liam. He was talking about, just talking to Trevor this week and telling him to just let it rip.
I think, Trevor and I had a good conversation yesterday in terms of just, hey, man, cut it loose and let it rip, when we do have some of those opportunities. And, hey, man, we don't want to turn the ball over, right? We want to turn it over on defense, and we want to keep it on offense. But we can't, be thinking about that or trying to play to not make a mistake at all, right? And so the message for Trev and our conversation is to just go cut it loose, let it rip, and see what happens, right? You don't need to be Jordan, point guards, facilitators, distributors. That's what we need, and that's what we talked about yesterday.
Don't need to be Jordan, just a little Chris Paul out there, Look, toss a few alley-oops up there. Look, it works either way.
If there's one thing the offense has been missing, I almost want to say the whole year, it's been, those big the deep balls.
Yeah.
The letting it rip, just let the ball fly, let your guy go up there and get it. And, he's thrown interceptions without making those plays, so, what could be the harm?
It has been an up and down season for Trevor. And look, I get it. People are frustrated with some of the highs and the lows. But I think right now that's just the experience. And I know that people are like, oh, he's been in the league. I think we really got to drill down into this. And I was talking to somebody just the other day, and I said, for Trevor, it's almost like you start a new job. It's the same thing you do wherever you currently work, but you go to a new place. And it takes you a little while to figure out how they do it. Even though this is something maybe you've done for a while. Trevor's played quarterback for a long time, but he's in a new offense. The mechanics of it are slightly different. If I go to a different TV station, it's going to be slightly different there. It takes you a while to find your groove, find your footing, and then all of a sudden you look up, the light comes on, and it's off and rolling. Same thing happened last year for Baker Mayfield in Liam Cohen's offense in Tampa. There were some ups and some downs, and there was some rocky road, and then all of a sudden the light came on, and they were off and rolling. Now, the question is, when will the light come on for Trevor? You can't bet against this guy. I mean, he can make all the throws. He has all of the talent to do it. So people that are just like, he's a bust, throw your hands up and walk away. Like, if you watch what Sam Darnold's doing, what Daniel Jones is doing, let me go ahead and I will book it. If somehow that guy walked out of the building here in Jacksonville, he will go to another team and do just that. Sometimes you got to pack a little patience. Just a little patience. Give him a second to figure it out. Give Liam Cohen a second to learn this guy, because they don't even know each other that well yet. They haven't had a whole lot of time together. This is a process. It's a process. If you start a new job, you get there, you still got to figure out all the people you work with. Where's the bathroom? like up and down, and he's still learning a lot of the ins and outs of this offense, even if we like to think it's just a flip the switch kind of solution. It's just not. It's just not.
And the offense hasn't clicked yet either.
No,
We've yet to see.
It's not just him.
And so it's not like this is what the offense is. We haven't seen it at its full potential yet. So that's still to come. Like you said, be patient. That hopefully will come. It could come this week. Hey, you know, Trevor is 2-0 against the Chargers, I'm pretty sure. So.
He is 2-0 against the Chargers. Justin Herbert has never beat Trevor Lawrence. Look, we'll see. And I think there's some frustration from folks because of what Trevor was billed to be coming out in the draft. And I don't know that he's ever going to reach the echelon of the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the league. But I think he's going to be a solid. Like, if you look at what Sam Darnold's doing for the Seattle Seahawks, if you look at what Daniel Jones is doing for the Indianapolis Colts, if you look at what Baker Mayfield is doing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you can't convince me. You cannot convince me that Trevor Lawrence cannot do that same thing for the Jaguars here in Jacksonville.
Okay, I did have one question for you about the offense. Just, I know there's been, you know, a multitude of issues, but if you could fix one to, you know, maybe get the offense on track, what would it be?
The offensive line. Drops Mike, walks off. Look, the offensive line, the past couple of games has been bad. In the losses, Trevor's been sacked 5 times. 5 times more than once this season. In their wins, they protect him, but in the losses, he gets beat up because they kind of struggle at basic stuff, and the depth has been tested. I mean, you look at last week's game against the Texans. Trevor rolls out of the pocket, makes a great throw on a dime to Parker Washington on the sideline. Looks like they're in field goal range. Flag on the play, hands to the face, Chuma Edoga. I mean, Chuma had blown the block. That's why Trevor was on the run. The offensive line has been hit or miss the entire way. Walker Little hasn't played well on the left side. I mean, flat out, he got a contract last year, and I think if you watched us on Sunday, I said this was absolutely crazy that they would let a guy on the hot seat like Trent Baalke give this guy a contract. And I say it now, like, you gave this guy an extension, and you're looking for your left tackle of the future still. So the offensive line has got to be fixed, and that's one of the reasons that I keep going back to about Trevor is, I mean, think about this. When have you last called the Jaguars' offensive line average in the NFL? Just average. Not good, just average. Not in Trevor Lawrence's tenure.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
All right, then. So this guy's played behind a below-average offensive line his entire career, and you can't imagine why sometimes he's a little skittish.
No, I mean, that's a fair point. Like you said, when they play well and Trevor doesn't get sacked, they seem to win the game. When they, you know, let the floodgates open and he gets sacked, they tend to lose those games. So, valid point.
Doesn't get too much simpler than that. The game is won and lost at the line of scrimmage, and historically, at least in recent history, the Jaguars' offensive line has been losing at the line of scrimmage. So your quarterback's under pressure. You could say, like, at one point there was a conversation of if he was seeing ghosts out there because, look, the pressure was there and he's getting rid of balls. So the offensive line hasn't been helping him out. If there's one thing I could fix, you fix the offensive line and everything else comes together.
All right, that sounds like a plan. We do have a little bit of time left. We're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll get into our predictions.
All right, welcome back here into Teal, the show. Jaguars, big game against the Chargers this week. Look, the team's injury report is, I mean, from here all the way to here. Look, the Jaguars are a beat-up football team right now. Long list of guys.
But so is the whole NFL.
So is the whole NFL. That's touche. But the Jaguars are a beat-up football team that has to kind of figure out, piece it together, and they're going to need some guys to step up in big ways this week. So we'll see if they can get a little bit of help from one of those guys that maybe doesn't normally hear their name called. Gonna need it.
Austin Trammell. I'm a big Austin Trammell. He's stepped up before. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Could be an Austin Trammell guy. We'll see if maybe Brenton Strange maybe gets back out on the football field this week. Nice. Probably going to be a little bit of a change on the offensive line this week, as there's probably going to be a little bit of a shuffle there because of injuries. And probably another Jarian Jones game on defense. Well, they give Jordan Lewis another week. So a little bit of a banged-up football team as they kind of try and figure it out. But this is the opportunities that guys on the team look for, where they get a chance to step up. So it's a big moment for some of these young guys.
It is. I mean, Jarian played well last week, so it's not. It might not be. You know, you might lose some of the leadership, but I think the skills on the field maybe are kind of still similar. So.
All right, so are you picking the Jags, Kyle?
I think, well, you know, we were just kind of talking about it. If everybody's picking the Chargers, which I think they are, and I picked the Jaguars. I've done that before. I do, like you said, this is a big game. Yeah. This game is their season. My whole entire heart wants to believe that after the catastrophe that was last week against the Texans, they're fired up. They want to get that taste out of their mouth. They come into this game ready to win, ready to play. So I think, I'm taking the Jaguars. I talked myself into it. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to go 21-20, okay? So that's that. I'm doing it. I'm sold. I think, they come out fired up. He is 2-0 against the Chargers. It is at home. They want to get that bad taste out of their mouth. Run the ball, block the defensive line, and maybe get after the quarterback a little bit. That
would be nice.
That is kind of a weakness of the Chargers that I've heard throughout the week. So
both of their starting tackles are on injured reserve.
They can get after the quarterback. Hey, wouldn't it be a great moment at home at the bank for Josh Hines-Allen to get a sack?
It would be great. That would officially make him the franchise all-time leader in sacks. So
I'm just saying.
That would be fantastic.
Timing.
Look, I'm with you-ish. So, you talked about it earlier. This is a response kind of opportunity for the Jags. I've never concerned myself with how the Jaguars respond to adversity. They'll fight their way out of a corner. The problem with this team is they don't know how to play with a lead. They know how to be the hunter. They don't know how to be the hunted. When they got a target on their back, this team historically has crumbled. They play with that chip on their shoulder. They like to be doubted. So it wouldn't shock me, Kyle, if you're right, and the Jaguars do go out there and pull off the win against the Chargers. I ain't picking them, but but it wouldn't shock me. Look, I'm rolling Chargers in this one. Back in 2022 was the last time the Chargers and the Jaguars have played. And the Chargers came here, and everybody remembers the playoff game and the crazy comeback, right? A lot of people forget the early season matchup where the Jaguars went out to L.A. They beat them 38-10, which was a great game for the Jaguars. They were kind of rolling early, too. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take that score. I think the Chargers win 38-10. I don't think this one's going to be particularly pretty for the Jaguars. I just need to see it. I know, Kyle, you feel a little bit better about your pick. I'm rolling Chargers in this one. I think the Jaguars have kind of hit a wall. But, again, it wouldn't shock me because this team does know how to respond to adversity. They do. They just don't know how to play with a lead.
It wouldn't shock you, but you're picking them to lose 38-10.
I did pick them to lose 38-10.
I mean, it's one thing just like a 1 point win or a 1 point loss. It's like maybe they can do it. 38-10 is like, I don't see it happening.
I don't think it's going to be a pretty Sunday.
But you think if they win close. If they lose bad. Yeah. Fair enough.
I think it's going to all be about how they start. So Liam Cohen talked to us today, and he said it was a quiet week at the building. He said, but he made sure to say quiet's not bad. He felt like it was focus, but when those energy shifts happen in those, especially in those catalyst games, can quiet be good and focused and you're locked in? Yes. Could quiet also be the realization of like, oh gosh, what have we done? Like shock.
Yes.
I'm erring on it's the more than the, okay, we're locked in. So we'll see. Look, it could go either way. I think if they win, I think it's going to be a very dominant win. If they lose, I think it's going to be a very one-sided loss. Okay. I'd rather them win because that keeps us talking playoffs, which is a whole lot more fun.
That is a whole lot more fun. But, hey, you could also – we're going to be out there, so – come hang out with us. We are. And Jaguars fans, you need to pack the bank for this one because this is a absolutely big game. It's going to be great weather. And before you get into the bank, you can come hang out with us. We're going to be out tailgating or tealgating. We'll be over at the Slab where we are before every Jaguars home game. We'll be live there from 11 to noon. So if you're out and about, come by, say hello. If you're sitting at home, you want to get all of that tailgate energy, you can come hang out with us right here on Channel 4 from 11 to noon. We'll have a little bit of fun along the way and count you down closer to kickoff. We appreciate you hanging out with us here on Teal the Show tonight. We'll be keeping an eye on the Jaguars on Sunday. We'll be back here on Monday night. Come hang out with us. Hopefully it's a victory Monday and Kyle's right and I'm wrong. We'll see what happens. Good night, everybody, and go Jags.